Kisha ushinde. Open and save in your KCB Gold Savings account for a chance to win many prizes. KCB, for people, for better.
Chamge jitab kalenjina mangongoi tugulole mete ko ibaibai agigere gitishet nebo Kass TV itagaten logoy gabemet kigure na Jacqueline Aruseim kitaune logoy joto gule tesetai gitipsen judges chebo Court of Appeal ole enginguni kagimuch ketipsen eng tai Robert Limo ago enginguni ketesetai ketipsen Justice Bairam Ogaya ole isuldae interviews joto kipagenge notok po Judicial Service Commission gegustigong
jurisdiction to be imposed on magistrates. And one such jurisdiction that was imposed on magistrates is the handling of criminal matters in employment disputes.
Yeah.
The issue I said has not been tested is in event there is a prosecution under those offenses, would the appeal come to the ELRC or the High Court? That is what I meant, Commissioner.
Okay, and what position do you take on that?
I have no immediate position because I'll have to listen to the arguments.
Okay.
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you
It
so
has
much,
not been
Judge.
tested.
I wish you the very best. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, thank you very much. Judge, I want to test you a little bit on your familiarity on matters family law. The Supreme Court has had the opportunity to settle some questions on the best interests of the child. In particular, the Supreme Court has set out some guidelines which a court ought to apply when they are balancing the child's best interests and parental rights and responsibilities. Just wondering if you're familiar with those guidelines, which were in the case of MAK versus RMAA, and maybe you can tell me one or two of those considerations or guidelines that a court must consider when balancing between the child's best interests and parental rights. What ought a court look into?
Well, I may not have really read that particular decision, my lady. I think in considering parental responsibility as against the best interest of the child, we need to consider the economic realities of the parties, so that it is not that the provision is imposed, like to provide beyond what is within the means of the parent. And secondly, a party to the proceedings, either of the spouses, should not introduce measures which make it more expensive for the other party, and reasonably so.
Apart from financial considerations, what other consideration, if you can name one, that the court would have to look at when balancing, apart from financial?
The court would have to look at because when we are talking about parental responsibility, we are looking at capacity of either parties to take care of the child, and they have equality of rights in to do so. So we may want to look at the best suited of the parties, the spouses or the parents to the child, who is best suited to take care of the child.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
They range from disability, disability rights, diplomatic immunity, and constitutional appointments. You write well, they are well reasoned, coherent, and you're able to link facts to the applicable law. The use of precedence is sound, and your tone is measured and impartial. And depending on the context, because I've looked at the 5, they reflect right-based and formalistic approaches. Though I took note that the recent one is a 2018 decision, so I was wondering, you've not done anything past 2018, though I've read your decisions. Maybe you can respond to why you chose to submit not very recent sample writings.
Yes, if I respond to that, Honorable
Yes.
Commissioner, I just picked on the decisions based on what I thought would show my structure in writing and my legal reasoning, and which may not be fundamentally different from today. But in that regard, I have provided the schedule of decisions I've made in the recent past. In the recent past 3 years, and which I'll leave with the Commission.
Okay, thank you. For many years, as a country, we used to apply the common law doctrine known as the pleasure doctrine. And in recent times, the executive, that is the presidency at the national level and governors at the county level, still hold that certain offices require political confidence, loyalty, and policy alignment. What is the place of this doctrine in the current constitutional dispensation?
Honorable Commissioner, the pleasure doctrine finds its roots in the inherited position that public officers held office at the pleasure of the crown, the monarchy. And in the retired constitution sections, if I recall, 24 and 25 stated that the president had public officers held office at the pleasure of the president, and that the president would abolish public office subject to contract. That is subject to accrued rights under contract. But all that has changed in the new constitution because we have moved away from supremacy of parliament and the sovereignty of the monarch. So that the Constitution provides that the people are sovereign in Article 1, and Chapter 6 of the Constitution introduces the concept of servant leadership. And so the doctrine of pleasure, holding office at the pleasure of the crown has been substituted with the doctrine of servant of the people, and the doctrine that the public officers are removable at pleasure has been substituted with the due process, like in Article 236, so that public officers can no longer be victimized. So the whole idea is that there should be a reason for a public officer to be removable from office. And these are the holdings, if I recall, in the case of Richard Bongo Birir, in which I decided and went to the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal said whether the pleasure doctrine. And in another case, Cecilia versus Nyeri, in which the Honorable Chief Justice sat, the Court of Appeal then said there must be a reason for a public officer to be removable.
Okay, I'm told to beep that. I don't know whether that's true. Governor may respond to it when this time comes, that when you're during appointment, you have your appointment letter and undated resignation. I don't know how true that is. Thank you, Judge.
Ketesetai kotetat konyor keljin familia cheite elibushek aeng chebo kipkelion eng county nebo Kericho kobun project nebo million 17 nekotech serikalitab county nebo Kericho nebo Jagoror water project eng Londiani oretab kit let kaimutikab rerunetab beek nekiityi komosatak eng kasarta nekoi.
Kongalale kasarta nekaindochi yatetab project nebo beek nebo Jagoror water project en Londiani en Kipkelion Eastern County nebo Kericho mwa gavana nebo county noton Dr. Eric Mutai kole project noton ko walutiet en kaimutikab beek en Kipkelion East ak West.
Kora kokakiyote project ini Jagoror we are commissioning. Silingishek chokeboisien so far ko project kokeboisien close to 17 million. Akambocha amwoi kongoi committees kominge tijiro akalak chikitonochin project kotakotonon project. Kingekonon en mesenyun kelenjon ano ele moche kechop en Kericho ni beek. Kobwone projects tugul mesetab governor nebo Kericho. Atabote akaker alenji akaker ale hapana Kipkelion East ak Kipkelion West kwa chumla. Ko chang tabushe kiba be. On the scene, alamache ginambe bege chabire koran. And that is why kiwa 17 million esegina jananyuna ka approval alamache ko be koran.
Kosubkei ak Dr. Mutai kotokyingei koityi kapchi cheite 2,000 eng Kipkelion komugul project inoton.
Project ini ke kikidesignen project ini kuba kokwatunwek la. Kokwatunwek la cheserve ni project ini kokorik more than 2,000 households in our projection. Kokorik more than 2,000 households. Magibangan ngite jabanguni. Lani kagibangan ako yatet ne mita. Lagu chukyo si jipto chimiro. Korun ko kesa akichek. Korun ko kesa kutina konyi. Kemachi tungo kesa werani ako tuna konyi ko even entene ya shemita ko mebecho ora kotoko bago yono konyine.
Kangang Gavana Mutai kole taban nebo projects chebo beek kotesetai kora kakimitet ak kanabtaetab sekta nebo tililindo ole wetokyingei kakimitet ak kanabtaetab sipitalitab Chago Road Dispensary ko oretab korib chametabgei nebo biikab emet.
Chago Road Dispensary ko rabunu sipitali. Aga amache amwa ne dispensary ko mi kerichek sipitali. Ko mamwochi ale janyone. Tamno ale jalaga nyone keibu kerichek kemo ak keu sipitali. Kuko mwachini kemo saa 5. Ale janyone sipitali sima sina basi kwenye kengalan keusu sipitali. Ala monyo ak akera kondanyu. Kotko mi komie anda mami ait kotomo kemeta koy koron. Makonyorton
Kotinygei ak nyasutikab maat chekotestai kolany en county nebo Kericho kobar kaimetabgei Gavana Mutai en mwaet kole kokek asenet neo kit nemagat boisietab kibagenge asikekirinda yautichoton akotestai koib asenet neo ak kowekta let uchumi nebo county nebo Kericho.
moche amwa ko county government nebo Kericho ale kikilegei en ngalekab emergency response en ile kimuche. Kenyini kindoi budget 20 million Kenya shillings asikobit kyal karisiek chebo maat. Kimoche kealchi komoche Kipkelion East karitab maat nebure en Kipkelion East sikotoreti komositon ak kialchi komosibwo Kipkelion West karitab maat akine netoreti bichu bo Kipkelion West yan kanyo ngalekab maat. Misiri tugul amoche asom bikyok kora alenji maton kou alak ko kasit nemaker kasit kotyol kasit. Komoswek alak ko mara kakeyai wiring nemakararan. Amoche asom ale chito kotom ikur chito koratu sitimet en ko iteben kotinye certificate nebo kasinoton asikobit komakeun kasit nemuche kobel lagok.
Aripoten logoiwekab emet chebo Kass kong'eten county nebo Kericho, kainenyun ko Robert Siele.
Kagomwa MP nebo Kilgoris Julius Solesunkule kole manyalu ng'alalet nebo konekit nebo neki Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua nekimwa kotinygei ak sukulishek chebo Nationals chebo Alliance Mangu Nairobi School ak alak kole kamwa kole bo emet tugul sukulishek chotok amabo bororiet nebo Central inegei. Ng'olole kasarta nekorobtoi certificates koityi sukulishek cheterter komwa Sunkule kole bendi koboisien kibagenge kandoik chebo Narok eng takchinetab kobit bandab tai.
Kamwa bichu kole kaikai kende sukulishek kobwa ano kama sio CDF chebo ano ak basari chebo ano, lakini anyun kit neo mising ko ngosib kabwatutik kwa kobwa ano. So ngiborchi kiwote akileji yuto anyun lebo kabwatutik kwa ano amun akweket ko ngapokere kou Sunkuli ko tala mising, lakini akot chito kotala mising nyo ieme kaa pagin makoi kweri kiboge amache kebakach ngalechu makoi obunchi Kilgoris akobunchi oldake. Ngebunchi nano Kilgoris ongebunchi kesi kabwatutik kwok tugul achamaka kochaman siasa kobwa tugul komie konyo stimet. Ikere sukulini kakimite kiregistered kiatech sukulishek karibu 60 en kenyisiek 3 ile nyo kotemenani agenge. Mimi nimejenga, nataka kuwapeleka mashule. Ukienda Ang'ata leo utakuta shule karibu yote, shule Ang'ata Boys imekuwa mpya. Shule ya Kilete na Kilete nimejenga. Oldonyoro nimejenga. Kapsinende Chel nimejenga.
Hata hii shule hii Kelena hapa
Hata shule ya Kelena hapa Moitari yote. Siku hizi wale maadui yangu hawataki kuangalia upande huo. Kwa sababu shule imekuwa imemetameta. Hata zile shule ya kuna Loipo Soito siku hizi umeonaje? Hata hapo ndani mahali inaitwa Shangoi, hata no sign ukienda huko. Hata Syria kwa miaka ngapi? Miaka 3. Na kama sasa mngenipea miaka 20 kama ile ambayo ilipotea. Si mngekuwa mnametameta. Wengine wanapenda kuangalia ati mashule ya Ndindi Nyoro. Ndindi Nyoro kwa sababu kwanza wao wamekuwa kwa serikali miaka hii yote na walikuwa wanajipenda. Ya pili walikuwa na mambo mengine hapo. Yeye kulikuwa member wa CG budget nini alafu wanachanganya na CDF wakaenda wapi? Wakaenda juu. Hata juzi Kashagu akasema ati kila mtu aende kwa shule yao. Lakini unajua Alliance High School, Mangu High School, Nairobi School, hizo mashule yote tulijenga sisi wote. Walipojenga mashule, tulipojenga kwa taxes yetu na nini, wakaanza kusema ni mashule yao. Ati wakaanza kusema weenda Kilgoris kwa sababu hata Kilgoris ni national. National kwani wameleta watoto Kilgoris? Hakuna ababa mimi namwambia yeye, hapana tutatumia hiyo mashule hiyo. Hiyo ni mashule yetu. Mtoto wetu hiyo ni mashule ya wapi? Ya tulichanga sisi wote na hiyo ni ukabila mbaya sana. Mtoto asome Mombasa, asome Garissa, asome wapi? Sasa jamjama kichego ndio kitu mtoto. Hakuna kitu ya kusema ati hiyo policy ya kuweka mashule. Mimi nataka mtoto yangu akienda Mangu asifikirie kwamba ako ndani ya Kikuyu, ako ndani ya wapi? Kenya. Akienda Alliance ako ndani wapi? Kenya. Na pia pamoja na mipira ya watoto nimeombwa kwa kile nimeomba hapo, nimeona imekuwa mingi. Wacha siku hiyo pia ya shule yenu ikiletwe hapa ili wakuje kupata mpira ya watoto. Na nimesikiza mambo mengi kwa kasingalia chechana. Na nimesikia mambo mengi. Hiyo ya vijana ni incubator na nataka tufanye urafiki nao vijana. Kwa sababu si vijana ninyi ndio Gen Z. Na si mnatupenda tu sisi baba zenu. Hizi ndio wazazi wao. Nitakuja kuangalia. Mnajua kwamba kikage ya mwanga na kapstimate ndipo Kabele. Na mimi mwenyewe niliweka hiyo hapa Kabele kwa list yangu. Na hivi karibuni wakati serikali saa nyingine nasema mwezi mmoja alafu serikali inachelewa. Lakini kuna methali ya Kimasai inasema hakuna kitu inachelewa kama inakuja kukusaidia. So hivi karibuni serikali italeta transformer hapa kwenu ije iendelee. Na wakati chairman wa CDF anakuja, atakuja kujadiliana na nyinyi ni maendeleo gani mnataka. Alafu tunawekea kwa budget. Kwa sababu zamani hatungeweza kufanya hivyo. Kwa sababu gani? Kwa sababu hii shule haikuwa registered. Alafu tena mashule yetu mingi kikaki kwa ito suguli sekta cha ngobano kwa badigi, na hiyo haikuwa haki. Sasa mimi nataka kurudisha mashule yangu yote iende upande huu ndio niweze kusaidia haya mashule. Nitakuja kuweka mbele siku nyingine, sio leo. Tuongee juu ya hiyo maji. Alafu mimi nisiseme uongo. Tuone kama tutafanya mchango pamoja, tulete mapipes mpaka hapa, si ndio? Na hiyo siku hiyo itakuwa mzuri kwa sababu kama tunaamua tunaleta maji, tunaleta maji mpaka hapa, si mimi ndaleta gambut yangu. Na nyinyi mtatengeneza ugali. Najua wakipsegi ya mama migura kwa toaginda kabisa. So siku hiyo takuja na wamekibiete ke ngale tipo peju. Angana shida leo kabisa kwa employment. Hiyo ndio shida kubwa. Tutafanya vile tuwezavyo, lakini tunataka hii factory ambayo iko hapa wasiende kuleta watu kutoka Kericho. hata kama investors ni kutoka Kericho wakuje kuchukua watu kutoka wapi? Hapa. Na nitaenda kuambia hawa 75% ya employment iwe watu wa Kilguru, watu wa Transmara. Waende kuleta watu wa Kericho kama wanajua rocket science. Lakini mafactory imejaa Kericho, hii moja wanatufuata tena. Hatuwezi mkubali hiyo kazi. Nitaenda kuwatetea na factories zingine ambazo ziko hapa nitawatetea ili ikue mzuri. Hii mambo ya employment tunataka kutumia njia nyingi, na kwa sababu ya saa sitaweza kusema hivyo kwa sababu kuna maofisa ambao wanaenda mbali, lakini mambo mengi ambayo mmeniandikia
Kaitita sibitali tab sub-county nebo Londiani en county nebo Kericho biik 10 che tilianutik kobun chepseon en kipkelionist chekomianso kosubkei ak nekolu chego chemursik chetomo kenai kit nekomite orit, kamwa medical superintendent nebo sipitalitab Londiani sub-county hospital Dr. Collins Kipkoech kole kakinya ak ityakta alak en bichotok ole takomite alake kotesetai konyoru kanyaiset.
Kamwa Morin Cheruta kobun chepseon en kipkelionist en county nebo Kericho nenendet ko agenge en biik chekolu chechoton kole kokichobe en kaa kit nekoibchi kaimutikab moet ak tilianutikyik alak 8.
Baada jana usiku tulitumia maziwa ya mala kulia usiku. Sasa vile tulikunywa tumbo ikaanza kutuuma, tukaara na tukatapika familia yetu tukiwa 8 na mwenye alitengeneza hiyo maziwa bado watoto wake wanaendelea na matibabu bado, lakini mimi ndio nilikuwa wa kwanza kusikia hiyo uchungu.
Kosubkei ak Vivian Chemutai nekochobe chechoton kotakoye teta nekokiken chechoton kokichoben mursik ole moingen amune asikoibchi icheket kaimutik kit nekamach alak en biikab emet kondochin David Cheruyot keyai chikilisiet nenen.
Sasa kufikia leo hiyo maziwa sasa ndio nimetengeneza nikichamusha nikiweka kwa kibuyu. Alafu hiyo ng'ombe yangu saa zingine inaruka inakataa kukamuliwa. Sasa hii maziwa yenye nimetengeneza ni ile maziwa yenye ikikataa jioni, ikikataa kabisa, tunakamua asubuhi, tunachamusha na tunaweka kwa makibuyu. Sasa kwa mimi nasema kabisa ni labda ni ng'ombe ni mgonjwa juu kuzaa ya kwanza alikuwa na arthritis ya matiti.
Kitu mimi naomba ni kwenye daktari ya ng'ombe aende chunguza hiyo ng'ombe, labda ni sumu kutoka ng'ombe ama ni nini. Ni hiyo tu, hatuwezi kusema ati ulaumu mtu ameweka sumu. Daktari naongea.
Kamwa medical superintendent nebo sipitalitab Londiani sub-county hospital Dr. Collins Kipkoech kole kakitita sipitalinoton biik cheite 10 chekatinye kaimutikab moet, kit nekasom biikab emet korib tililindo en amitwogik en kasarta nekakonyorchigei bichoton kanyoiset nenen.
So we managed to assist them to give them intravenous antibiotics and also intravenous fluids. So we had 5 male and 5 female. So initially they came in 8 and then we had an extra 2. So we managed to see a total of 10 patients. So I would want to urge residents and all civilians to be on the watch out, and whenever they ingest, especially around the area we know soy milk or mursik as popularly known is very popular, to be on the lookout so that when they take that milk, whenever they report any symptoms, they should present to the nearest hospital. And also for prevention purposes, we need to ensure that we practice proper hygiene mechanisms, because we understand that bacteria will grow when you ferment them.
Aripotchin logoiwekab emet chebo Kass kong'eten county nebo Kericho, kainenyu ko Robert Siele.
Kaindochi eng betutab rani Deputy President Kithure Kindiki tuyet nebo the Development Partnership Forum 2026 ole kang'alale akobo kirindaitab kemeut eng emetab Kenya koboto ortinwek chekiboisie eng kakimitetab ak kanabtaetab kabatik eng emetab Kenya koboisie muswoknatetab kasari.
We have clarified that we want Kenya to move into first world economic status within one generation, and the paradigm that will take us there is the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. The drivers that will take us there are people, partnerships, and technology. And that's why the people are at the center of our development planning and development programs. We also believe technology is going to play a great role in this transformation. And thirdly, we believe that partnerships are going to play a crucial role in Kenya's transformation, for the simple fact that as the world is realizing public sector resources are not enough for the kind of needs that our nations have. And therefore, we will leverage on private sector partnerships with the public sector to get adequate resources to achieve our objectives. We have a situation where the need for human and livestock feed is going to be required urgently. And we are planning initially up to July, and then we can assess the situation as we go ahead. I want to assure every Kenyan that there is no need to panic. This climate-induced situation is something that will affect the country in the short term, but the government has made arrangements to make sure that we provide enough food for all the people of Kenya, and also to save their livestock from dying because of the drought. And therefore, there should be no panic in the country. During the holiday season, I spent a bit of time with the National Treasury and the ministry responsible for special programs. There is intervention that has already been done. Towards the end of December, the National Treasury released 2.5 billion Kenya shillings to the Special Programs Department. 2 weeks ago, actually last week, another 3.5 billion shillings was released to the Special Programs Department, bringing the contribution of the Kenyan government in the last 1 month or so on this issue to 6 billion Kenya shillings. Kenya has already made the commitment for 4 billion shillings every 30 days, and will review the situation based on the information we receive. I therefore want to assure all the people of Kenya that the government considers the situation as a serious situation, and the government has mobilized all available resources.
Kangoichi ngoshinet bengitab NCBA ak kamunitab INCAP netakchingei ketoret kabatikab emoni konyor besendo nebo alyetab tractors eng kasari kitokchingei kasarta nebo golset. Hama director nebo asset finance eng bengitab NCBA Lennox Mogambi ak managing director nebo INCAP Kenya Marion Gathonga kole tetutienoto kowendi komuktechin kabatik chechang kosuldae boisionikwak chebo kabatisiet ak kotoret eng nyorunetab amitwogik.
New Holland is the best product we can offer from an agri-business and agriculture point of view. And what a way to do it with the best bank, with a bank that understands asset financing. That's why we decided to sign this today. We've all seen that seasonalities are changing in the country. So when you have rain or short rains, you need to act quickly to prepare the land and to plant. And even you need to act quickly for the harvest season, so you don't get caught up in the changing seasonalities. So the reason that you need to embrace mechanization is for that speed and mechanization that is responsible, that will give you the correct level of service or ground preparation quickly, so that you can maximize the season that you have. When we discussed our partnership with NCBA, we actually discussed seasonality, and we are delighted that there's a period that the farmers will be given to actually plant and harvest, so that they can have the money to pay for the facility that they will have taken from the bank. So I think it goes down to the individual farmer, to the individual consumer out in the village, that they don't lose crop because they were not prepared or they didn't have enough hands to prepare the land.
If you look at the agricultural sector, it contributes about 21% of the GDP, yet it is also underserved in terms of availability of financing solutions. So that created a significant gap. Why? Because banks were yet to understand the cash flow cycle of these farmers, something that we addressed with this partnership. And a lot of the farmers could not access credit. So the need stems from the fact that it is a significant part of the GDP of the country that we need to solution, which did not have adequate financing solutions, and the fact that then it was important for us to understand the cyclical nature of farmers' cash flow cycle, as opposed to the linear nature that traditional lending is all about. Therefore, we are coming in to bridge that need. It is adequate to the extent that we have the right solution, but the only gap is consumer education. We need to educate our farmers that they need to transact, as far as their bank accounts are concerned, to be able to create the assessment that the banks require to evaluate them and their eligibility for financing solutions. So that is the gap. So consumer education in terms of educating farmers to know how to manage their finances, that then they will be eligible for financing, is one thing that we need to work on. This particular partnership, we believe that taking a bold step at the beginning of the year will help us now catalyze that ownership of agricultural equipment and increase it to the level we've seen with commercial vehicles. And hopefully by end of year we'll be talking about 70,000 for tractor farmers, because then that will help us as a country enhance food security.
Eng logoiwekab radiosiek kokoit emetab Kenya eng kemboutab amut timitab emoni kobun kabelishetab World Cross Country Championships eng emetab America konyor takset neinegei timinotok eng kiwanjetab ndegeishek nebo JKIA komite Agnes Ngetich, kabelindetab labatetab kwonyik eng kabelishonotok bo World Cross Country Championships nekoibor boiboiyenyi kosubkei ak kabelishet nekonyor.
Bye no kabisa, and kimamangu ala labati kunot, but juu kimi pressure neo kingo drop en Beatrice Chebet, so kiatinye pressure noto kabisa amu ki expectani kenyoru medal juu kikowinen Kenya mara 9 so kobo 10 so abaibai ni amu at least kwa achieve at long last amu kiacheng koekeny. Ingen kingamini ko kiataune cross country so king sa nyoro labati ko kiataune cross country so kiachame cross country kongeta amini chu kingami primary school ko kialabati cross countries and kimangen alaba track but kiachame cross country so kongami Florida so I was on the right position and I was nikasema tu acha niende nitafute ya
finally tinye gold nebo cross country and basket nengunget ne ne expect ni kenyit noto ne miten ultimate championships miten world indo ak miten world half marathon championships
chang resisiek chemitai but aweksei tam tukai chini na coach agerogele nene mita wendi sana kwa coach nenyu Julian Di Maria alibelieve kwangu sana and akaniambia usi give up juu kiachengo yegenya medal an individual medal and kogimanyoru so I wanted to give up but kile choine me given up bado to sidi kutafuta and also my parents and my colleagues in Iten na all keche staffs walinisaidia sana ndio at least nipate hii medal.
Kongetendro you go the next event ni bangani go to sign on
Toma na inguni amu tom gena gelingiro kwa kogitar kichagele siko igete bungwe agebanga kwa cheng nebo half marathon mara mingi sana mara mbili so tachenge toma given up yes yeah.
Chitab Kalenjin kakituk chotok emetab logoiwek chok chebo emet ak radiosiek chekakimuch kebun kong'ete studio nebo Kass TV kobate kibendi kekuschini kongo kebata logoiwekab emet ole kakosulda tetutik tugul chetokyingei kasuletab labatet nebo tindiret Barngetweny Mountain Run netetat kerweng tarik 17 nebo arawani eng komasta nebo Tindiret county nebo Nandi. Kibendi kenyoru Nelson Charbey nekang'alal ak officials chebo labatanoto kondochi nebo ng'echeret Joel Kemei ak sirindet Peter Sang asikobit kwarorich missing kotinygei ak labatanoto kirwoe eng tulondok eng komasta notok pa county nebo Nandi. So kigurena Jacqueline Arusei kabarastaindet nekawalwech ng'alek eng oretab kabarunoik kegure Naomi Cherotich.
Atinye kamagunet chitab Kalenjin ale ichamegei eng ui tugul ole igere ketesyo nebo Kass TV tetutiet noto nebo Kass Mashinani eng betut nebo kosomok kasi tarikit ko nebo 14 arawetab agenge kenyitab 2026 eng atachin eng ng'alaletab agenge kutinygei ak labatet noto bo Tindiret Barngetweny Mountain Run netetat kerwei eng tarikit 17 arawanito bo agenge eng komasta nebo Tindiret. So eng yu kemite ak alak eng officials chebo labatani che ameche arorwech kotinygei ak labatani eng kaindo. Ameche ataune agenge eng komasta nito nebo katam imwoiwo kaineng'ung ile tos ng'o kaineng'ung ako tos labda eng chi nekase eng kasarta netai labatani ko keng'alale kot missing nebo Tindiret Barngetweny Mountain Run ko tos ne labatani.
Missing tarpe kikorona Peter Arap Sang sirindet secretary eng Tindiret Mountain Run. This is the 5th edition 2026 kikitau throughout 2022. Labatani pa Mountain Run ko labatet nenegei na unique kiamwa kenyit konye kele labatetab Mountain Run ko labatet nekilabatie tulwet. Tulwet nekakopiman technical team nebunu AK ko proven the people in charge of world athletics. Kenyini ko labatet neter kenyit konye. Kenyit konye ko kikilabatie labatet nekitaune ng'uny ak ketoche barak kikure uphill. Panatarbe kenyini kekure classic uphill down. So kibendi barak ak kewe ng'uny.
Komwa chi kole labatetab Tindiret Barngetweny Mountain Run ko kele labatet nekirwoe eng tulondok ak lekemoshek kunoto is. Ngele kipsigis ngele kakilany tulwet kelen eng kipsigis kakilya opposite nebo Nandi. So Tos ne kai labatani ko labatet nematengen biik chechang. Yarorwech akobo labatet nito kisime tulondok.
Wanatarpe ak pasikyo chebo kutit. Mountain Run ko labatet nekikende series ne World Athletics ak Athletics Kenya. Labatet ab Mountain Run ko labatet neter eng labatosiek chun alak ku kitinye track events. Kitinye cross country ak ketinye kuno wa website ab cross country. Ak ketinye road race ku marathon. Ko road race ko labatet lamet ko Mountain Run ke labatet tulwet nekindo max. Wabwa mutai tarpe nyo kertin trade Mountain Run ko tebe to ruwa ano. Kityeme labatet ab Mountain Run kityeme kenyor the skill na labatindet ko nayo ole kibendi ko max. Nebo aeng kemoche ko sustainen mokimbiachi bortanyi kosime tulwet ako chorugei. So kindo max tulwet akindo alamosiek keboru kole kibune yu. Akoi ole kiwekegei akoi ole kitorchin. Kora bwana tarbe labatani kenyini ko unique in itself. Ko ki advance. Kinyit konye kiboisien ak numbers kikisire kwendi chito, kisire dawo chito. Kenyini rane bwana tarbe elite runners. Ko boisien ile jeep. Jeep ko electronic reader nemi running number ako itinye 4 jeep reading machine, jeep reading stations. Chengusiri to labatindet ko readeni. Ko kwe ko mumi ole bore pick up Kass FM pick ogere tulde ba kutit ak lagok ak watasamaji ogere TV ogere labatindet labatindet tawlin ak yimunyi gole.
Tos labatani patineret paringetuny Mountain Run ko kemwa ile labatet ne inegen labatet ne unique eng kutitab Kiingereza, labatet ne matamite komoswek chechang. Tos labatani keruai eng ano eng emetab Kenya ak emotinwekab sang.
En Kenya ketinye karibu series karibu mut. Ketinye tindret netai series netai ketinye tindret. Ketinye Meru, ketinye Mount Longonot, ketinye Tulwap Konye, ak ketinye Ururu. Karibu mut. Lakini netai nguno Kenya ingen ing kalenda nebo World Athletics nebo mountain running ketinye keruai after every 2 years. Ku kenyini ko kenyit konye ko kiruai Spain. Nguno akitwalda kenyini ak kenyini nyone. Kenyini nyone nguno kebendi South Africa. Kama jaje ndarbe kikikosa kidogo na Kenya kitakibidani kutabwana Kenya. Ako mama acha kutabwana tindret. Lakini sasa mu kipita South Africa ko kikichelewa na chega ting tuyet kupita South Africa. So kisome kitinye kama unet kele 20 after 2 years kimara yebana ta kontinent Europe ke sigebe Africa ke bidani Kenya. Kenyini nguno timu ne kwe kenyini ne kwe tungwain ko bendi jigila World Cup. Ko World Cup ke every year. So timu ne form nguno tungwain ne ba tindret ko bendi series nguno ki form ni atege ke that number TV lo ak burni lo. Ko testang series chebo Kenya. Angetar series chebo Kenya ke ko team Kenya asuko manda ko basang. Le burwe Italy ko bendi China, bendi Spain na to World Cup. Yeah.
Kengalale akobo labatani to ko kagenai akobo labatet noto bo Mountain Run anane labatet noto kirwe tulondok. So patep chias kole labatani to bo tinderet paringetuny Mountain Run ko kakikas kaine kaeng kakikas tinderet ak kekas paringetuny. Tos ne nikaisot au labatani ko kamune sikekure tinderet ak kekure paringetuny Mountain Run.
Bwana tarbe tinderet ko kaine na kibun pikimengen tinderet ko le mite gitne ure tiret. Ko tiret ko ge ko na ure bisosiot. Ko sosiot ko getini ko tiret. Ko nyo tinderet 3/4 na tinderet ko wata tawa. Ko changeti ka ure tinderet. Ko ngebwa paringetuny ang biap kutitab Kalenjin pik tugul chebo Nandi Keyo Kipsigis Wasingishu. Kongen nga kainet paringetuny ko boyo na nat neki kandoindet Rift Valley. Ako one time kikinominated MP ang parliament nebo Kenya. So ko boyondani ko ginda dream nebo labatet kotoret biik ko kityo mu kinyoru kishoru ko nget werin nyi konomchi boyondoni kondo mbaret nemapcheapche, mbaret nekituyo, consolidated land. Kokiberurcho mbarani kotulwet. So kokingokone mbaret kingipkeyai survey ak timit nekikimi tugul, boto chairman, boto biikab county government ak Athletics Kenya, biik che in charge chebo Mountain Run, kikure Peter Ngwenyi. Kebata terrain kabisa keyai evaluation ak kimut chito nebo World Athletics ne choroni GPRS. Kokimoche the gradient, kimoche the happy ak kimoche the flatness. Ak kimoche kora accessibility. Ingen Mountain Run ko labatet ne koumia chito keringet komoche kimuch kimong. So ko kikityem ke convince the technical team ak kingo kakwassesen their percentage kwir kole nyolu ko Mountain Run. So kiangakonech ekei kelechi kemoi kure tindret inegei. Lazima keteshi Baringetuny amu Baringetuny ko kandoindet is a brand name nebo Rift Valley ako mbarenyi 3/4 ko mbarenyi kimondo kidogo. So noto amune si kure tindret Baringetuny Nandi Mountain Run koek jumla. Yeah.
Ngite keweka yuto bo kainet Baringetuny. Kingen anan ingen biik chechang akobo boiyot noto nekikoru Baringetuny, lakini mara komatakingen werinyi noto kikure Eric nguno ko agenge eng sponsors anan akure sponsors amu kineme mbarenyi ako eng kenyisiek tugul konemu tukchik ako ma tuga kityo. Ngele tuga ko labda kolen biik Merkweta tuga chachwaket. Tuga chuko breed na mi barak mising. So kokikokon kora resources chechang cham kokonu kawek, konu tuguk cheterter. Ara tos iwekyini kongoi Eric akobo noto kinemge. Akora kikoparticipaten kora Eric eng tuguk chechang nebo kero kele kakikanapta labatani.
Kamoche amwaun bwana Tarbei ale sikobit ni success ko kit nekile harmony. So netai korok amoche awe kiongoi serikalitab Kenya amu ngobit achek biikab athletics biik chebo labatet kemoche nebo kalyet. So serikalit korok kakon kalyet through the government. Kongepit kalyet kobit good well wishers chebo support. Konyo nguna patronage. Sikobit kokon mulda nemie Baringetuny kokon tugukchik kenya patronage nemie nebunu Mheshimiwa Mele. So kituyekei Mheshimiwa Mele ak Eric Baringetuny. So Eric Baringetuny ko boiboiyenyi ko kikone tukjana as a host nebo Tinted Mountain Run. Ko kikon barenyi keboishe ketchech. Nebo aeng kokonu zawadi nekonu Athletics Kenya through the sponsors considering 500,000 labatini netai. Tarbe. Kiabwa number 2 kongeta regulaja. Ara kakoib namba 500,000 kokon den teta. Ako teta asema teta nebo 200,000 kwa barak. Namba 2 kono namba ai ko wotashin artet toba. Sune South Africa. So in boy yenni because the environment about emenya na sarili na Kenya ak the patronage ingele ngumabit kinegele political goodwill engene championship. Ako labate na ako biri na wuti ring Afcon. Ndakimai kimwagonge the president nyonet ko kon goodwill as a head of state nyonet na Kenya. Kimotek the Afcon. Amu kike bidden Afcon for how many years? For 10 years amu nyoru Afcon. Ako Afcon ko nyege ayin. Amu goodwill bonga our president. So gende goodwill nyene nyonet nebo county government of Kenya Nandi aga our MP.
Ngatebenen tebutiet nebo let kotinygei ak mi labatoshek anan mi urerioshek alak chekoiste eng labatanito tos amune sikoiste ako ngircho labatanito koiste.
Labatet nekiloboti ko Mountain Run. Chu alak kimengunju kekure kettle wrestling. Mi labatet nekobo boisiek nekocham kirwae. Kokiste boisiek amu in one thing ingen ngelabati Tarbei ing labatet komi kit nekele assessment. Kimache kebiden for World Mountain Run. Kongot keker biik cheosen korwae keker biik cheosen korwae in terms of assessment. Kelen kakobunji seni kakobunji veterans ako mi labatet veterans. So kitito labatet tindret kene to kidogo na boisiek kibo baka biik ak chebo tindret kityo chakiboiboege ak chebo lagok chebo 5 years to 7 years. Lakini chun alak chun ko kimache kiteme kemiten standards chebo World Mountain Run. Magimache ora keutye kebaibai biik cho. So kitinye biik chenyoruech mutai tungoini koboisie kebaka chebo tindret choto kityo chebo kityo. Yani ngotko anwe sheria lakini ngiaba kabisa the real thing ko labatet ke nekit chebo lagok ak chebo elites ak under 20 kiptarbe ko magetinye under 20 in awarding but this time round kingeba Spain ko Kenya kimekenye timit ab under 20 koker patron kole lazima kenyege ngolala biik ab AK ko nyo ngala biik ab AK ko anege ketishirani under 20 so under 20 rani ko is a race under 2016 years away 20 a race the awarded good money.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kongoi Bwana Peter Sang ameche ketokyige komasta nebo eunyu nebo tai asikobit kenyoru nebo ngecheret eng labatani noto ko Joel Kemei mwalimu. So Mr. Chairman kakoarorwech secretary nengunget kotinygei ak zawadi anan kelchinoik cheterter chebitu eng labatani. Tos ikertoi ano zawadi chu ngisub eng standards nebo labatet? Tos iker ile ko achieven ako tos ne zawadi chu kekochin kabelik ak kekochin ako nambata?
Kongoi mising Bwana Tarbei eng boroindo nekanyoru. Kamache amwa kityo ale eng kainenyu kekurena Joel Kemei ako a chairman nebo local organizing committee nebo Tindret Mountain Running. Ngebwa kebebertab zawadi chekikoitoi kenyini ko nekit kokergei ak zawadi chekikoito kora kenyit konye. Eng 5th edition nieb kenyini kikoitoi zawadi 500,000 eng labatindet netai nebo 21 kilometers. Taitake kokongei kora in one of our sponsors from the Lion Farm noto Eric Barngetuny kokon teta kokochi teta in labatindet netai. So kimache kemwa kele eng zawadi tugul kwa ujumla ko chebo 21 kilometers ko kikochin 500,000 murenik ak chetibik. Chebo 8 kilometers kikochin kora zawadi. Chebo lagok chemengechen chebo 2 kilometers koboto chebo 500 meters koboto 8 kilometers under 20 chakamwa secretary kikochini kora zawadi tugul. Sana sana lagok kikochini bagishek ak kitabushek amu chu ko lagok chemengech makikochini chepkondok.
So angen ale sikobit zawadi chu kwamu sponsors cheterter chekoimange asikobit kotoretok. Asome kityo imwa kainekab alak eng sponsors choto ale chang kot mising mameche kero kele kuyo kakiutye anan kakimwa alak makimwa alak lakini ameche kityo imentionen ak iwekyi kongoi sponsors choto cheboto keteshonito bo Kass Media.
Kongoi mising Bwana Tarbei, amache amwa ale eng 2025 ko kikinyoru sponsors chechang mising ak amache amwachi kongoi tugul ichek che supportenech eng 2025 eng sponsorship. Sana sana ku KCB, ku Equity Bank, ku Cooperative Bank, Teacher Service Commission, Kenya University Placement Service, ak alak cheki supportenech eng the 4th edition. In the 5th edition nito nieb kenyini ko koke-approachen kora this the same sponsors. Nga alak ngengalali eng saishechu kotomo kokonech majibu lakini kimwoe kelenen kimwachini ichek kelechini eye osupportenech mising amu kararan boisionik keyachini bikyok chebo Kenya, bikyok chebo Rift Valley amu eng representation nebo the World Mountain Running. Eng ichek kokoresponden ngangalali nguno ko kokoresponden Mount Kenya University. Mount Kenya University kokone chepkondok, Teacher Service Commission kokone chepkondok, KCB kokone chepkondok, ak alak kep kaoli ku Kipchimat Group chekokengalal ako kokoyan kokone kora chepkondok. Koboto EPK ko grupitab chebo kapchai chemi Nandi Hills chekokone support neo mising. So kimache kemwachin kongoi all the sponsors chekokoresponden ak ichek chetomo koresponden. Mayasom ale aye kaikai onge supporten ngalekab labatani amu labatani Tindret Mountain Running ko ne inegei eng Nandi, inegei eng Rift Valley, inegei eng Kenya mzima. Noto amune kikitinye timit nekikakimut ko Spain korwai ko represent our country.
Bwana Chairman, kitinye dakika mbili sikobit kekesu tetutioni ako tatinye maswali chenekit koite aeng somok. So ngataune tebutiet nebo iwalu kityo nwakindo amu agere kakobek sait kokotinygei ak kingen kele kirwoi labatani eng betutab tarik 17. Nguno betutab rani ko tarik 14 kongetege mutai as ketinye cultural event eng komasta nebo Taptengelei. Ielesanech akobo nito tos tinyege labatani nebo Barngetuny Mountain Run ak cultural event nemito komasta nebo Taptengelei.
Kongoi mising Tarbei. Kamache amwachi biikab Kalenjin korok ale kitinye kelchin ko ki Tindiret, ko ki Nandi, ko ki Rift Valley amu cultural event nemite Taptengelei nekitou rani mutai komut kasi ak inyoketarchi tugul Tindiret Mountain Running. Kenya Tourism Board through the CEO June kiko supporten mountain running kong'eten nekobo last year ak nebo this year. Amache amwachi biik kyok ale obwa Taptengelei kesupporten Kenya Tourism Board amu eng boisionik Taptengelei ketindoi ng'alekab cycling, kitindoi ng'alekab karisiek chelonye tulondokab Tindiret olimbo Kapchai, kitindoi biik che walkeni kora anan bune kelyekwak kokeroti tulondok barak olin asikobit kokon naet nebo emetab Kenya ak Tindiret ak Nandi kwa ujumla kenai kele ngaa olimbo Tindiret ko emet ne is a tourist attraction. So amache amwachi kongoi Kenya Tourism Board amu kikoyan ichek konyoko supporten the trails in Tindiret taitya ko supporten mountain running. Kitindoi memorandum of understanding ak Kenya Tourism Board. AK Kenya Tourism Board over boisioni tugul nieb mountain running ak nieb trails.
Bwana Chairman, anale kakwo sait kot mising lakini tatinye tebutik aeng. Tebutiet nebo nekit asikekesunoti ko ngamwa korok kotinygei ak rwoik chekikebelis eng kenyit konye eng labatet nito bo Tindiret Barngetuny Mountain Run kokiib kowakilishan emetab Kenya eng komasta nebo Spain. Mangen ale kabelikab kenyini kotos bendi ko participate kano.
Amache amwaun Tarbei ale rwoik che kokarwai last year eng olimbo Spain ku Keriako, ku Kimng'eno ak rwoik alak che kikaba tugul. Amache kemwachi kongoi ichek amu kiwakilishan this country, kiwakilishan Tindiret Mountain Running. The next World Championship ke South Africa. Ak mache konai biik kyok kole mountain running keyoe every after 2 years. Nguno 2027 kimuti timit koba South Africa for the World Championship.
Ara Chairman eng dakikaishek anan sekondishek 10 kotos itoche meng'ikab county nebo Nandi, biikab Kalenjin, biikab emet ak rwoik tugul koro kole kemong'e eng betunoto bo tarik 17 asikobit kourerenso ak koboibochi labatetab Tindiret Barngetuny Mountain Run. Kele edition nebo 5 is nito 50th edition.
Kongoi mising Tarbei. Korok amache amwachi kongoi county nebo Nandi amu sports ko kikoik a devolve function. Eng support ne kikokonech in the first edition, the second, the third, the fourth ak nguno the fifth. Amache kityo asom ale kotoko supportenech in certain percentage nebo the funding. Ndakonech like 50%, 60% kokochin mountain running amang'u ale kararanitu. Amayatai biik tugul chebo Nandi, amayatai biik tugul chebo Rift Valley, amayatai biik tugul chebo Kenya asikobit kobwa labatani nieb Tindiret Mountain Running koboto nieb Kenya Tourism Board asikobit kokerchigei tuguk cheechen cheyookse kebebertab Tindiret.
Kongoi mising Bwana Chairman, noto ko Joel Kemei mwalimu koboto sirindet noto ko Mr. Peter Sang chekawarorwech akobo labatani nebo Tindiret Barngetuny Mountain Run. Nenito ko labatet ne inegei nechang kelchinoik, labatet nenginyochi ak inyiro iboibochini kot mising amu nito ko labatet nemo labatosiek chun bo atkai tugul. So kawakas ile chang kelchinoik, mitei chepkondok, mite tuga ako mite kora zawadi alake cheterter chebitu eng betunoto ko akwek sponsors chekomong'ugei otoret kora anan osupporten labatani kewekwa kelen ak kongoi mising ak kesome sponsors un alak kele somong'ugei sikobit kero kele kakitoretkei kero the success nebo labatanito bo tinderet bo Ng'etuny Mountain Run. So eng ki age tugul eng betunoto komekosan cham kelen kosa uchekwe, so mamiache ikosan sikerorichin imong'ugei sikobit iro anan ilabat eng labatanito bo tinderet bo Ng'etuny Mountain Run. So agoi yoto chitab Kalenjin ko ngekeschi yoto tetutienyo sikobit kewekte soet kobwa Nairobi sikobit kotestai tetutik alake anan news alake. Kainenyu ko Nelson Tarbei kemite ak cameraman nenyunet Cornelius Keter. Kongoi mising.
Revisha ushinde. Open and save in your KCB Gold Savings account for a chance to win many prizes. KCB, for people, for better.